Hello and welcome to Fantasy Author Reacts. I'm your fantasy author for the day, and today we are reacting to me. I've been here the whole time. No, we are reacting to some of my own work that I've done. My book isn't quite out yet, but I know that a lot of people kind of want to see a proof of concept, like do I actually know what I'm talking about aside just being able to analyze things, and I'll kind of leave that for you to decide. So I haven't always been a fantasy author. I actually got my start writing animations, specifically for a channel that I ran called Smash Bracket, where we took two characters and had them fight each other. But I eventually kind of shifted my mindset to a place where I was wanting to write them more like short films than just fights. And so I did a lot of study there, read a lot of craft books, got a lot of feedback, and put together a great writing team. So what you're going to see isn't just me writing. No writing truly happens in a vacuum if it's good, in my opinion. There's always feedback from other places, and so I'll credit the writing team in the description if you're curious who all was on it. But we're going to go through, I think, maybe 5 of my favorite animations that we put together and talk about like what went into it and what was I thinking, what I would have done differently. And this might be interesting for anyone who enjoys animations on YouTube, because you can kind of get an insight into the craft and like what goes into it. And yeah, it was a whole lot of fun. So this first one is between the characters Samus from Metroid and Pit from Kid Icarus. If you've ever played Smash Bros, you're going to know all of these characters. This was a challenge because Pit from Kid Icarus has a very distinctive dialogue style. It's very snappy and quippy, which is easy to overdo and make grating. And it's also easy to only look at that and see it masking like his heart. At his core, he's a very earnest character who wants to do right and serve the goddess Palutena. But then we have Samus, who's also really misunderstood. She's often characterized as just the stoic badass, and she is. She rarely talks, but she also cares very deeply about protecting others and is almost like a super space mom in some ways. And so there was one more complicating factor, which was Pit in his universe is canonically a fan of Samus, and that was almost too much of a good opportunity to pass up. So we're left with these two really easy to misunderstand characters who probably wouldn't fight each other, and I needed to find a way to make it believable. We do have the benefit of them being in a tournament in universe here, but we'll go ahead and see how I did it. I'll probably let a chunk play through at a time and then talk about it instead of pausing constantly. But I might immediately go back on that. We'll see. So notably, that was not Samus. That was Dark Samus. These animations all did have like crossover between the lore of each of them. And I wanted to use this to establish Samus's heroism and show kind of the atmosphere of the world that we're getting into. And then Samus checking on Pichu, just a textbook save the cat moment. Nothing narratively complicated, but really it kind of shows her caring nature, and that I wanted that to be the first impression we got of Samus. Samus is someone who's brave and someone who cares. So this entrance here by Pit and Dark Pit was actually set up in a prior animation. I wanted it to kind of wink and nod to that while being able to stand on its own at the same time. And you'll see this also splits off into what's going to be our next animation, which is Dark Pit versus Dark Samus. It kind of sets up both at the same time.
Oh, Samus! What a surprise! Your armor looks so good in the dust clouds. Hey, is that a new cannon?
So again, I love the voice actor's delivery on this. But the idea was we wanted to show how like enthusiastic and almost childlike Pit was, maybe naive. I remember that line was out of New Canon, used to be, "Can I sign your amiibo?" or "Can you sign my amiibo?" Then we felt like that was just breaking the third or the fourth wall a bit too much, so we dialed that back.
Oh, Samus, what a surprise! Your armor looks so good in the dust clouds. Hey, is that a new cannon?
You can exchange numbers after the fight, Casanova.
Right. Samus Aran, in the name of Lady Palutena, I, Pit, servant of the goddess and protector of all that is good. I guess not all that is good. I can't stand vegetables, and Lady Palutena says those are good for me, but Pitu just says that's big veggie trying to spread its propaganda, so I guess it's up.
One of my favorite lines we've ever written. Guardian of all that's good, but Pitu says vegetables are good for me, and I don't like those, but that's just big veggie trying to spread its propaganda, or something like that. Oh, it's so silly. So fun. But that's kind of how they talk in Kid Icarus. And I remember I made a spreadsheet of every single line of dialogue in Kid Icarus and tried to isolate it. And even then, like, it took the whole team to be able to write it. And if you notice, we also have Samus totally disinterested here. Why would she fight this random kid who seems to clearly be a fan of her?
All that is good. I can't stand vegetables, and Lady Palutena says those are good for me, but Pitu just says that's big veggie trying to spread its propaganda, so I guess it's up to interpretation. In any case, I, Pit, challenge you to a fight. Oh, hey, oh, wait. Pitu has that taken care of. I'm your opponent, remember? Verity? I don't think she's listening. Maybe I can fight someone else from Metroid. Is Ridley taken yet?
So Ridley, if you don't know, killed Samus's parents. And so she's very traumatized by that and doesn't want that to happen to someone else.
If nothing else, you'll probably annoy her into fighting.
Verity? I think she's annoyed.
Great.
And here we go. At almost exactly the 30% mark, we're breaking into the actual fight. It's probably a bit longer of a setup than you want. In your first act of anything, you probably want that closer to 20%. But something was like, we were just barely scraping by for the budget, and so we didn't have time or the money to do storyboards. And so blocking things out wasn't super precise. So like we did our best with percentages and the scripts and making sure it was structurally sound, but we didn't always know how that was going to translate to the screen. And so you'll notice the percentages here in terms of how it's structured are less precise than you would get if you went to like a traditional studio or even something like Death Battle, and they're more story driven episodes where things are storyboarded out beforehand.
Maybe you should have warmed up first.
Alrighty then, let's turn up the heat.
Oh, this dialogue was so fun to do. This is a custom score too, by the way. We really lucked out with our musician who just absolutely elevated everything that we did. But yeah, so I knew that I wanted this to be structured in like different environments. It's easy to let fight scenes, which is essentially what this is, a story-driven fight scene, take place in one environment or not let the environment really factor into it. But that was something we were very conscious of, is how would the setting actually affect the things that happen. So pay attention to how that changes and what the change of setting shows about the mentality of the different characters and kind of their points of view and their strategic capabilities. I don't know what that technique is called, but when someone starts getting beat up or you cut away from it and you just hear it muffled in the background, I've always found that so funny. I know you get it to some extent in the Band Geeks episode of SpongeBob, where everyone's fighting and then Patrick kicks Sandy in the shin and she chases him outside with a tuba, and then it's silent and then you hear and then he walks back in. Yeah, I don't know what that technique's called, but I remember really liking it. And then we do have the change of environment. So this marks about the 50% mark of the animation, where things do start to change. At the midpoint, you don't want things to be able to go back to how they were before.
It's too cramped. I can't fly in here.
She's narrowing down your options, but you should be all right as long as you don't lose sight of her.
And then I remember here to make things feel close, because you have to keep in mind the promise of what you're doing here. It's a who would win fight. We wanted like a series of cascading failures between the two of them, where one tries something, it complicates it for the other person, they do something, the other person turns it back on them. And by doing that, you can kind of create a tense back and forth. I'm so proud of that whole sequence, just the back and forth and how every action has an equal opposite reaction from the other person. Like it's constantly entangling things. I'm so happy with how that turned out. This script was headed up, I had a lot of influence on it, but this one was led by a person on the team named Air Caves, who was just an absolutely brilliant writer.
This is over. Go home.
No, it's not. As long as people are counting on me, as long as I still breathe, I won't give up.
So we have this little detail here of Samus panicking that I wish we had framed a little bit differently in the animation, but it was intended to show she didn't mean to go that far. She didn't mean to actually hurt him or lose him. She thought he could withstand it, and then he's gone using an ability. I think it's just called fake death or something like that. But this turning point where they stop for conversation structurally reads like a midpoint, but it happens closer to the 60% mark. And that just goes back to kind of that lopsided intro with the lack of storyboards that we had. So if we added another minute onto the end, or took a minute off at the beginning, which would be hard for me to do, I love that beginning so much, it would make things feel a bit more evenly paced in retrospect, but I'm still really happy with how it turned out.
Give up!
And then I also forgot to mention, in that dialogue, we actually have Samus talk, where she almost never does. And her, so I knew that there was going to be a lot of weight behind what she said. So we ended up having her say, "It's over, go home." With the emphasis not being on "I want to kill you," it's I don't want you to get hurt. Just get out of here. And then with Pit, we're continuing to drive home that theme of not giving up and being perseverant.
I need the sacred treasures.
Are you crazy? Get out of there while you still can!
I'm not running, and that won't keep her down long. This is our only shot.
Your wings are damaged, and we already used the power of flight. If the Pegasus...
I know what will happen, but they will hold out. They have to.
So now we are firmly in our third act. I think those claws were custom models, if I remember right. So, some things when you're doing animation writing, you have to think about how everything is done, not just the actual action or the dialogue. But for example, we scripted Pit's wings being burned and damaged here, and him just having this charred texture. And I remember that being important enough to the writing team. We ended up actually, I think, reanimating this ending to keep that, or at the very least, it had to be re-rendered with that texture, because it just reads so differently if he's all pristine and not hurt.
No, Palatine is counting on me. I can do this.
So one thing about Pit in this is he is sort of one note with I'm determined, there's Lady Palutena, and I'm going to do anything for her. And that's kind of by design. In something that's only 6 minutes long, you don't have a lot of space for an in-depth character arc, especially when you're adapting a character who already exists. And so we kind of narrowed down both characters to a one-word theme, and then from that theme, we extrapolated into the full script. But determination, I think, was the word we had for Pit. And so rather than overcomplicating it, we tried to keep things as simple as we can to be effective storytelling.
Now, this is over. Please give up.
And then we have Pit mirroring the opportunity to give up, and even the exact line, I think, because she said, "This is over," and now he's saying, "Now this is over." And this next sequence was a direct kind of fan service reference to a game called Metroid Dread, where she just gets these quick time sequences that just tear things apart. And then in the last 30 seconds of the animation, you might feel like it's a little bit rush of an ending. We'll see. I'll get into that more. I want your thoughts, actually. Look at how far we are in the animation versus what's happening structurally, and then let me know what you think about the pacing, and then I'll let you know what I think. And there it is. And she checks his pulse. That was really important to us to show that she really didn't want him to be hurt.
It's gonna be all right, Pit. You did your best.
So, yeah, so we have what feels like our final encounter in the last 12th of the animation. So it's very backloaded with that. Whereas this reads more like something you'd get at like maybe the 85-90% mark in a more traditionally structured thing. And you do have a lot more room in short films, but you also have to think about structure and being cohesive there. If we were redoing it today, I'd probably insist on storyboarding so we can make sure the flow is there. But honestly, I think even just adding an extra minute to the end, which would already be pretty long for the genre, so probably shouldn't do that, of the two of them fighting, I think that would help it feel a lot less abrupt. We did get a lot of comments that were like, "Oh, that's that." But all in all, I'm so proud of this one. I'm so proud of how it came together, taking two characters who, one was almost always or very frequently misunderstood and hard to write, versus the other that's hard to write for the entirely opposite reason. He's got such a distinctive personality and is a fan of her. And so we had all of that to capture with this. And I'm just really happy with how it turned out. Let's go ahead and get into the sequel, though. If you'll remember here, we had Dark Pit and Dark Samus flying into this cavern. The sequel is a lot shorter, and it shows that fight. And we knew we wanted this to be horror. I don't think we even have a soundtrack for it. We just wanted to use atmospheric sound design. So we'll see how that goes. So Dark Samus, if you don't know, is made up of a virus, like a radioactive virus, I believe. And that's entirely what it is, rather than being a person. And so one touch to Dark Pit would, in theory, kill him unless he uses a revive. So that was the scripting limitation we had, is how can we make Dark Samus scary without actually letting Dark Samus touch Pit, because that would end the fight immediately if we're trying to be realistic, which we were, because that was the premise of the show. So you can see how we tackled that, trying to make it a horror rather than a traditional brawling animation. So we have the same setup.
Oh, it's Samus! What a surprise! So good in the dust.
And then you can tell like the things we did in the sound design to try to make it feel tense. Like we had like this chanting that was very distorted. But I'll mostly let this one play out and then provide commentary after, I think. I'll stop if I have something to say.
It couldn't have gone far. Don't let your guard down.
Wasn't planning on it.
Oh, I love that.
Come out and fight!
It's teleporting. You can't keep shooting wildly.
Aren't you supposed to be telling me the things I don't know?
So we mostly kept Dark Samus off screen until the midpoint of the animation, when finally it's revealed. But the reason was twofold, or actually threefold. We needed to avoid that physical touch. We needed to create atmosphere, and then we also needed to show Dark Pit's ability to adapt on the fly and be strategic. And there at almost the 70% mark, we have our first real touch between the two. And we knew we wanted this, when they actually make contact, to have pretty severe consequences.
Pitu, I don't care about the fight. I'm recalling you.
And I should have done... I should have done the sound design there, but that was the revive effect, showing that he would have died or maybe did die and then was brought back. And so that's gone. He only has one more chance. Again, structurally, we're kind of a lot closer where we should be compared to how it was last time.
Pitu, I don't care about the fight. I'm recalling you.
No! It's personal now. I'm finishing this. Goodbye.
Oh, and I remember just having so much fun doing this, and like structurally, this is very sound. I wish we had a bit more visual build up in anticipation for Dark Pit showing up there at the end for that final shot. But I'm really happy with how this came together, and we even have enough time to decompress with the last 5 to 10% of the animation. A little fun fact, I think you have we had a voice actor, Anertimus, who's a good friend of mine, in the background of this. You hear that chanting, but if you play it in reverse, it's going, you have to get up pretty early in the morning to put old King Karul into Minecraft, and Figma balls, which was an inside joke between the two of us, but it sounds creepy because you don't know what he's saying.
Faridi, that was the worst thing I've ever done. Next time, I'm choosing the fight.
Yeah, let's get you to the rewind spring. We can argue later.
You can argue later. That lack of sound effect there was me being tired.
Choosing the fight.
Yeah, let's get you to the rewind spring. We can argue later.
How fun. Okay, what's next? Oh, next is a fun one. We've got Mr. Game & Watch versus Wii Fit Trainer. And these aren't popular characters by any means, but this is one of the hardest scripts that we wrote. I think we probably had 10 different versions of this. But the issue was these aren't even really characters. Like, they're avatars for one is just an exercise game, and then one is a representation of an entire console of mini games. And so we were like, well, we have to give them personalities that feel true to who they are. At one point, the Wii Fit Trainer was like an eccentric essential oil salesman. But eventually we decided we're trying to write a fight. Let's just lean in and make a Looney Tunes episode that features some combat. And so this is pretty tonally different to what we did before. Oh, and I just love the voice acting here for Wii Fit Trainer. That was Catalyst, I believe. But yeah, let's just get into it.
Everything's in balance, just as it should be.
So here we wanted to start showing kind of the normal world of Wii Fit Trainer, embodying what she embodies in her game, which is just like zen and tranquility. And then we knew in order to tell a story, we have to introduce something that's going to throw a wrench into that and break it just a little bit.
Welcome to my gym. Are you seeking to achieve true health? Are you ready to finally loosen up and achieve your dream body? Start today. There is nobody beyond my help.
And our animator included at the end of that flyer, Switch Online plus expansion pass subscription required, which would be Nintendo. But yeah, so the whole premise is Mr. Game & Watch is this choppy, stiff figure, and he wants to loosen up, but is unable to. So what do you get when you get the chillest, most relaxed fitness trainer against an impossible client, an unstoppable force meaning an immovable object? We will see.
Nobody beyond my help. Oh, I see. Well then, let's get started. You've got this. Count with me. 3, 2, 1, go.
So introducing the first set of issues.
Maybe let's start with some Maybe let's start with some breathing exercises.
I remember I actually got a comment saying in your sprite animations, you always do these close-up shots because you want to convey a facial expression, but it just doesn't look good in sprites. And I was like, oh, that's actually a fair criticism. So we started doing some close-up reaction shots being hand-drawn. So that's what that was. That was by Trey Tunes, and he's just an absolutely brilliant animator.
There we go. Follow my lead. Breathe in. And out. Feel yourself getting lighter.
So
You've got the right idea, but
we knew we wanted it to all be just well-intentioned failings, where Mr. Game & Watch is just making Wii Fit Trainer's life as miserable as possible through nothing but trying his absolute best.
Let's try it again. Feel yourself getting lighter. There you go. You're really getting the hang of this. Oh no.
Oh, I thought I directed the voice actor there to do a goofy scream. I might be thinking of a different animation, but I remember literally recording. So this is going to sound weird, but I just need you to go like, yeah, hooey! Maybe it shows up later. But we're at the midpoint now.
Prioritizing our health. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Grace! Try landing with grace. Just like an elegant cat.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, for the love of, just do something! Save us!
And then,
Always knew you
just when you think they're safe,
could do it. You are a real superstar.
there it is.
Last time, we did not order a giant trampoline.
You know, pal, you could have told me that before I set it up.
Just unabashedly took that joke from Emperor's New Groove as a fun little reference.
We're alive? We're alive! Now, if that didn't limber you up, I don't know what will. Oh, you're still stiff. Are you kidding me? After all of that, you are still just as stiff. We are going to get you loosened up whether you like it or not. Get ready to feel the burn.
And then, and then, yeah, we got our third act and leading up to the climax here, where poor Game & Watch is just trying his absolute damnedest to do what he can, but. And then Chekhov's trampoline. We showed it earlier, and it was used to stop her from dying. Because it kind of felt mean-spirited if this ended in a death. So we just kind of wanted it to be silly Tweety birds.
And there you
And there you go. That's the... Oh, wow, I said what I said. Then we end with the little Game & Watch. How cute is that? Oh, that's so fun. I had such a good time working on this one. Let's see. I am going to end with one that's just an animatic, but is actually my favorite one we've done. Okay, here we go. It is Uncle Iroh versus Master Oogway. Avatar versus Kung Fu Panda. And I love this so much. It's really just a proof of concept, but the writing took a lot of effort to get the characters right. So opening with Tranquility.
Wonderful timing. The tea is set, but is lacking a flame. Would you be so kind as to give it fire?
Oh, my friend, I was once a great bender of fire, but now I'm less like a roaring dragon, more like a whimpering kitten.
Well, you shall never know if you can unless you try.
So this is the same voice actor for both of them, which just still blows my mind. Yeah.
It seems I can. I must have wandered a bit further than usual. I would be honored to share a cup of tea with you. My name...
So the challenge here was, how do you take two characters who would never fight each other and make them fight each other and have it feel in character? But it felt wrong to have Iroh and Oogway and not start with them having tea together.
My name is Iroh, but seeing as you were expecting my arrival, you must already know of me.
I have no idea who you are. I was just making tea and lacked fire. I trusted the universe would provide. And here you are. I am Oogway.
And then I said, leave me alone. I'm bushed.
Oh, there's so many little references to the shows here. I don't know Kung Fu Panda as well as I know Avatar, but I remember looking into Oogway specifically as a whole team, a writing team.
Now that is what I call a good cup of tea. May I say, that is one beautiful teapot. By chance, would you be willing to part ways with it? You see, it would make a wonderful addition to my collection.
And then here about the 20% mark, we're getting our complication that's going to break up into the fight. You can see that YouTube offers you a jump ahead button because people just want to see them fight in this niche. But structurally it's sound, and I'm really proud of it.
Certainly. You are free to take it.
Then a little Kung Fu Panda reference here.
It is not often that people are willing to part with something so precious.
I said you are free to take it.
I would prefer to settle any conflict over an ice game of fight show.
And then this is our musician in the background doing the Avatar. Ooh-cha-cha-cha-cha-la, ooh-cha-cha-cha-cha-la. They just went all out on this.
Perhaps some friendly conflict would be a nice contrast. I do not think you to be a pushover, Master of the Flame.
If you do insist on sparring, you'll find that the Dragon of the West is not an easy opponent.
So then, officially getting into the fight, probably at like the 30% mark. Is it a little self-indulgently long at the beginning? Yeah, it is. But I mean, what are you gonna do? And we knew something Kung Fu Panda does that we wanted to replicate was it uses exterior objects as a framing device for choreography. Like if you look at the dumpling fight between Po and Shifu, it uses I think it's a dumpling, it uses it as a point of reference for time and for stakes. And so that's how we wanted to use the teapot.
Sometimes the truest path to our desires is to set those desires free.
And then just all the fight, because we thought it would feel too mean-spirited if they were directly going after each other at first, it's all around this teapot.
I know I couldn't cry out
The little tea ghost.
but seeing it is just so sad.
It is only tea, my friend, but one splash in an ocean.
Only tea. Only tea.
And then I think it's in Kung Fu Panda, it could be Avatar, one of their spirit worlds, the environment changes to match your emotions. And so we wanted to have an emotional shift around the midpoint that changed everything. So that would not only change the environment, but it would also change the emotions that are driving the script.
How could someone so wise say something so horrible?
The spirit realm shapes itself to your emotions. You must not allow so much strife over one cup of hot leaf juice.
That line didn't really fit, if I'm being honest. You can tell from how it's not mixed quite as well. That was a throwaway one that we had from the Oogway voice actor, and I just couldn't kill my darling. I couldn't let it go. So I kind of put it where it didn't belong, and people called it out rightfully.
Hot leaf juice.
So many fun references. We're reaching our third act. And here we go. We almost exactly the 75% mark. I think we did have this one storyboarded. You can notice another emotional shift that's going to change everything and set the stakes for our final confrontation.
You are truly a master of your craft, Oogway.
Don't sell yourself short, dear friend. You have been putting up quite the challenge.
Oh, this animator did such a good job. And then Iroh could do Oogway could do nerve blocking, which is also an avatar. So it's something that Iroh wouldn't totally be prepared for, but he's also familiar with it. And so that kind of changes the stakes here as well, getting us officially into our final confrontation.
That's quite well. Are you familiar with that technique?
Only enough to know how dangerous it is. Did I ever tell you how I got the name, the Dragon of the West?
I don't believe that you have, although I would love to hear this story.
It's more of a demonstration.
Ah, such a fun reference. Ooh, and here we go. The animator put in so many little details, like the little yin and yang symbol there.
Master Iroh, are you all right, new friend?
My, I haven't had that much fun in ages. Now, I don't suppose you'll still let me have that teapot?
No.
Oh, and there you go. It's just one of my favorite things that we've made. Is it structurally the most sound and writing? No, but I had a lot of fun with it, and I think it does what it sets out to do. But yeah, anyway, I mean, I've made like 30, 40 of these animations with the team. I could sit here all day talking about it. I mean, this is not what you're here on the channel for. I just wanted something that you all could see, like, do I actually know what I'm talking about with writing? And I'll kind of leave it for you to judge. Obviously, it's different than my prose writing and my fantasy novel, but the storytelling, like, basics are there, and there's things that I could do better, but there's also a lot that I'm really proud of, and this is kind of formative to my understanding of storytelling. Everything you see on this channel comes from what I learned doing this, both on while I had like hands-on experience, but also in between episodes when I was studying craft books and taking courses and things like that. This whole project was kind of my training arc for writing, and I'm just so grateful for the writing team. Like I can't take full credit for it, and on some episodes like Samus versus Pit, so much of that was Air Caves as well, and just the whole team came together on it, where when we wrote a script, we had an extensive feedback process and a corrections process, and like, here's what worked, here's what didn't work. Could we maybe tilt the camera a little bit more up here? Can we tilt it down here? Speed this up, slow this down, change this dialogue. Like, there were almost always at least 5 sets of eyes on any given script, and it went through probably 4 or 5 rounds of revisions per script on average, some more, some less. Wii Fit Trainer versus Game & Watch probably had, like I said, 10 drafts trying to get that right. And you would think that's the simplest one, but I think that was the hardest one we ever wrote. But yeah, that's my work. I'll leave it for you to judge. But if you're curious at what I can do, that's it. I could do more of these if people are interested. I don't imagine you will be, but it'll be a nice thing to have on the channel. Check out Patreon if you want to see what's coming up next on the channel. And until next time, thank you so much.